All right, what is up, everyone? My name is Chris, and today, this video isn't really going to be anything about like news or anything like that. It's kind of just like my thoughts. It's nothing that's like, I thought of this or, something like that. Honestly, today I just want to talk about the round robin tournament and how I think it will affect the Flyers, and I also think how it can, I guess you could say, kind of hurt the Flyers a little bit. All right. So the round robin, the three games: Boston, Tampa Bay, and the Washington Capitals. August 2nd is versus Boston. August 6th is versus Washington. August 9th is versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, I think one of the biggest things about this, right, when I saw the schedule, it was kind of just like, a game, wait a couple days, a game, wait a couple days, a game, right? So you have three games in the span from the 2nd, from the 9th, and, where some teams are going to be playing a lot more. The Flyers have a lot of days to kind of work out, things that went wrong and all that stuff. And they also have time to rest. I think that's the biggest thing. You have the 2nd to the 6th to the 9th. I think that'll be good for them. And they start out versus Boston. Now, again, Boston, a team that they played, they went 2-1-0 against Boston this season. They won the first game back in November in a shootout. They had a 2-0 lead. Kind of let that slip away. Carter Hart was very, very good in that game. He stopped the penalty shot late in the third period with David Pastrnak. Stopped all of the shootout shots, I believe, and one of them being Pastrnak where if Pastrnak scored, then the shootout would have been tied. But the Flyers ended up winning that game 3-2. The next game, that was obviously the Marchand missing the puck in the shootout. That was a great game. The Flyers were good, I guess you could say good in some parts of that game. A lot of turnovers killed them that game. They just had a lot of bad defensive play, and thankfully they ended up winning. They were down 5-2 at one point. They ended up coming back. They got some good scoring there. I believe Myers got a goal. It was either Myers or Bunneman. I can't remember. It deflected off somebody's knee. So they got a little bit of depth scoring in that game. Sanheim had the game-tying goal. And I thought the Flyers played pretty solid. And I think one of the biggest things about that, too, was the Flyers only saw Tuukka Rask once this season. And that was the game that Rask shut them out. The other two games where the Flyers beat Boston, Jaro Halak was in net. So that is kind of a big factor to me, because it's like they didn't see much of Rask, and when they did, he was lights out in that game where they lost 2-0. So I'm honestly more scared of Boston than I am Tampa Bay. And I know you're going to call me crazy, but I think with the way that the Flyers played versus Tampa Bay this season, it was a crappy game, the first one, a 1-0 loss. It's a game where Vasilevsky steals it for them. It's a fluky goal to Maroon. It's like batted down with Niskanen's glove. He missed it, and Maroon just kind of whacked at it, and it went in. That was all she wrote for that one. They lost 1-0. That was not a bad game. I thought they played pretty decent. And I shouldn't even say decent. I thought they had a good game, just honestly could not score. The 5-3 loss versus Tampa, in Tampa Bay on February 15th. I did not see this game. I was at a Phantoms game that night. So I had to leave my house at around like 3 in the afternoon to get up there for warm-ups and all that stuff. So I was out from 3 till very late at night. So I missed the whole game. The game was at 7 o'clock, and they lost 5-3. They had a bad start. They were down 3-0. They ended up coming back, but they lost 5-3. I think if they can play Tampa Bay in a full 60-minute game, from start to finish, and realistically, I think if they can break everything down by, take these 5 minutes, win these 5 minutes, and then, okay, let's say, take the next 10 minutes, win these 10 minutes, and then you go from there. And then you say, okay, let's win this period. And then you end up winning the game. I think that's how the Flyers are going to have to do it. Realistically, I think they can beat Washington. The Caps, very good team, right? I think they're very similar to the Flyers. They have a very good goaltender, Braden Holtby. And another thing is that the Flyers played very good versus Washington this season. Out of the 4 games, Flyers went 3-0-1. They won the the one game at home, 3-2, and then they beat the Capitals on the road 5-2 and 7-5. Games where they were just dominant all around. They got great goaltending in both of those games with Brian Elliott. So Elliott played those 2 games on the road. Carter Hart played both games at home, and he played really good. I think Hart played good in the first game as well. But it was kind of they were down 1-0 early. They tied it in the third. They had a bad first period, and Holtby was just very good. They could not solve them. They ended up losing the shootout 2-1. In the next game, completely dominated those games. The next 2, and they beat them on the road, then beat them at home, and then they beat them on the road again 5-2. So they played really good versus Washington this season. I think they had Braden Holtby's number. I think they could score a lot on him. Especially when Samsonov, he had to come into one of the games, and that was the game where everybody talked about Ovechkin getting his 700th goal, and Giroux got his 800th point. I thought that was great, and that was the video where I had milestoned as the title. But this round robin, I think the Flyers can prove a lot of people wrong. I'm changing what I said before about this. I personally think that the Flyers can go 3-0 in this round robin. I really do. I know it sounds biased. I really don't care. It's my honest opinion about this team. They're a very good team. They sometimes, I catch myself sometimes thinking that the Flyers have 4 first lines. And you can say that about all 3 of these teams that they're going to play. This is going to be very good hockey. I'm very excited for it. I personally think that they can, second and third place in this round robin is definitely possible. I also think first place is possible. It all depends on how the Flyers play and how they control themselves. I think the goaltending is not going to be a problem. I think we know what we're getting in Carter Hart. Unbelievable goaltender. I'm not scared. Nothing rattles Hart. I mean, if you guys saw the episode that we did with Derek Settlemeyer, he talked about that. He was like, once he gets into that zone, he's fine. And, nothing really rattles him. I think the biggest thing here is their starts. I think that's the biggest thing. The start, they have to be, solid in the start. We all saw how it was in the beginning of the season with the starts. Oh my God, they were atrocious in the first couple minutes of the game. Turnovers all over the ice, and then you find yourselves down 1-0, maybe 2-0, sometimes 3-0, and you're like, well, the game's already out of reach from here, and then you have to battle back. That cannot happen in this round robin. You have to take it very seriously. Listen, I know it's going to be different. It's a long break for all these teams. I'm not expecting them to come flying out of the gate. If they do, that will be unreal. I do not expect that. We've seen that in the past with this Flyers team and how they struggle in the beginning of games and they find themselves coming back late down. That's honestly been going on since 2012, where they just find themselves, or they have to come back at some point, either whether it's in the game or it's in the season, where they just have to, find some sort of magical, I don't even have the words for it, where they would just have to try to come back in the last couple minutes. It cannot happen anymore. This is a team that's going to contend, and this is a team that I think can get first place in this round robin. I also think second, third, and even fourth, realistically. And I think that's the best thing about this. They were already in fourth, so they can do no worse than fourth. That's great. So again, it really all depends on how the Flyers play. I trust AV with everything. I think the lines are going to be good. I think he's going to do very good on the defensive pairings. I'm not really expecting a humongous change with them. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if some guys are switched, or if they do a little bit of a change with maybe 1 or 2 guys. But that's normal, right? And as I said before, this is going to be a very good tournament. I'm excited to see the Flyers play, and I hope you guys are too. Remember, podcast, articles, those links are on my channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.